What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen of the world? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another edition of Legends Talk, man. Tonight we got a very, very, very special guest, man. I know, everybody's been tuned in to what I'm doing, and in every show we shout out our sponsor, Solepack. Solepack has been tremendous for our brand. They've been there since pretty much day one. And behind that brand, we have Mike Sala. He's the founder, CEO, owner, operator, whatever you want to call it, man. The guy's been putting in work behind the scenes. And tonight we get to chop it up with him, man. And it's a pleasure, man. He's been a godsend to the brand, like I said. And yeah, man, we got Mike Sala stepping up to the plate, man. So do what you got to do. Like, comment, subscribe. You tell your friends, tell your uncles, to tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? But without further ado, we're going to get into it. Legends Talk, y'all. Legends Talk with Mike Sala.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, champ? How you, man?
Good, brother. Good. Thank you for having me, man. Always an honor, man. And, appreciate your words and just holding us down, brother. Appreciate you.
Hey, yeah, you know how we do, man. Since day one, you know what I'm saying? You've been behind our brand, all things hoops, like it's your own. So it's only right. It's only right. We spread the love, and you know what I'm saying? And we here. But before we get into it, I like to send a quick shout out to our sponsor, which happens to be you.
Whoa, shit! Mine's blown right now as I'm tripping, man.
hey, shout out to Solepack, man. Shout out to Solepack. Solepack is the hottest bag company around with the basketball hooper in mind. You know what I'm saying? Check them out. You could visit their website at thesolepack.com. Visit their social media at Solepack. That's the IG page at Solepack. But we're gonna get to a little bit of a commercial, and when we finish that commercial, we'll be right back with Mike Sala of Solepack. Let's get right into it.
This is a Brooklyn Bell.
Solepack, man.
Thank you, man. Yo, shout out to Roman and his brother Jay, the director, man, for shooting that for us with Dave Melendez, man. So appreciate all those guys.
Definitely, shout out to the creators. That was Roman Perez. Oh,
yeah,
different Roman.
Yeah, that's him, man. The gift himself, man.
Shout out to Roman. Shout out to everybody on the Solepack team. Just shout out to Solepack in general, man. That's why we're here. We're here to show love, appreciation. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, since day one, you've been behind the All Things Hoops brand. I think I met you at in Philly, if I'm not mistaken, in Philadelphia. The All City Classic. Shout out to Charles Monroe.
Yeah,
of All City Classic. It was a situation. I was kind of doing what I do. You were doing what you do in terms of sponsoring different events and stuff like that.
Yep.
And it was an organic kind of meet and greet. It was like, hey, what's going on? How you doing? My name is You know what I'm saying? And it
Remember
kind of
that,
clicked.
man. I remember that, man, for real.
It clicked from there, and you know, and it kind of materialized. Everything kind of started, you know, working out, and now, you know, we're here. You know, a couple years later, a couple more gray hairs later. We had the
Real, man.
opportunity.
Still grinding, and we're still keeping the same grind. You know, picking up even a couple of notches, but you know, still doing the same organic work. You know, at the end of the day, it's always about work and putting in work.
Absolutely.
And
And then we actually had the opportunity to hit that Barclays floor together, man. At that time,
model basketball, man. Shout out to Brandon and whatnot.
Shout
Nike
out to
headquarters too, man. He had us up in there. I think that's when he first sat down for that first interview, was at the Nike headquarters. So
right, absolutely, yeah, man. So, you know, again, it's just showing love, appreciation for the brand, cross promotion, if you will, and yeah, by any means necessary, man. We gonna make it, man. So, you know, without further ado, man, I got a few questions for you, man, if you don't mind.
Of course, man. That's what we're here for, right?
Right, absolutely. So the Solepack brand, man. You know, how did this whole Solepack brand come about? You know, what year was it, and how did the whole idea come about and kind of transform into what we see today?
Cool, yeah, for sure, man. It's a long story, but you know, for years, I was like a gym rat. I was sneaking into NYU's gym since like 7th grade, 8th grade, since my brother went to NYU. So I was playing ball every day. Then eventually, through high school, I played at NYU. And when I got to college, I went to NYU, followed my brother's footsteps. And I was just the same thing, gym rat every day, carrying a book bag, sneakers plus books. Then I just, always ran out of room for my sneakers, right? So I was carrying like a Herman's bag around, a Foot Locker bag around with my sneakers in it. And like, so I had one of those moments like, I need to figure out a way how to put fucking my sneakers on my backpack so I'm not dangling this, this plastic bag around the whole city with me.
Right.
So, long story short, I was, I remember being on the ferry one day, subway, because I live out here in, Shaolin out here, Staten Island. And, that's a, significant commute. And so I just started, cutting up bags, and little by little, I began the journey of like, what does it take to invent something, create something? And so I just started applying for patents and whatnot, and eventually got a patent. But out of the love of sneakers and basketball, and that's where everything began. So this was probably around 2000s and a little bit before that. So the whole 90s, the influence of 90s on the brand. So.
Wow, did you say Herman's, man? Are you dating yourself now, man?
Some young cats are like, what is that? Herman's, man.
Right. But nah, definitely, in terms of being a basketball junkie, the game is it creates a lot of different lanes. And so, with respects to what you were going through, you were trying to find a way to kind of carry your gear. You were trying to find a way to carry your stuff and do it in style. And so that process of creating applying for a patent, just because I know a lot of the younger guys, even the older generation as well. What did that take? Did you get approved the first go round? What's that process like of applying for a patent and actually getting approved?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, man. It was like, early, during the 2000s, everyone wasn't on a computer per se yet, right? So I was, I don't even know how it happened. I think I was just digging through whatever resources I had. So I found someone in the city, like a intellectual property lawyer that kind of guided me in direction, and just constant. I was going to there was a library up by the Empire State Building, like some science library, and just had a whole stack of all these annals of inventions, patents, and whatnot. I was just, again, I had no idea what I was doing, man. I was just, grinding and seeing, what I could possibly make of the idea. So down through the US USPTO website looking to see if there's any inventions that kind of existed, and with that guy's help, and I ended up linking, I don't even know how, with a lawyer out of like Minnesota or some shit like that. And we just kind of corresponded through emails, and of course this was like around 2002, 3, and we applied for a few patents, and they got all rejected. Everything, like the first few got rejected. Then finally, like around 2005, 2006, he's like, yo, your invention got approved, man. I was like, what? So I was like, what do I do with it at that point, man? I was becoming a physical therapist at the time, and the last thing I wanted to do was make bags, right? So I kind of sat on the idea, try to figure out, like, how do I get this cool, like, the interesting product to market? I felt like I was sitting on this like lottery ticket, right? I had this cool, patent sitting in my back pocket. Like, what do I do with it? So I try to, fish it out with a licensing company that they said they were going to introduce it to all backpack companies and whatnot. But, hindsight, people just told me, it doesn't really get to the people, that decision makers that make things happen. So, long story short, I had like a homie in the streetwear industry at the time told me, yo, why don't we just, make the bag ourselves, man? Shout out to Chris. He's like, yo, just make the bag ourselves. And I just started, meeting people in the, the fashion district, and trying to meet a small business manufacturer just to present them my concept I had. And just, it was a process, man, just going back and forth from the city, school, work, and constant hustle, man. Long story.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I mean, in terms of, do you still have that prototype that you kind of designed?
Yeah,
or
I got it over here in the back office, man, in my little home office over here.
all right, cool, man. You need to frame that thing, man, or whatever you got to do to protect that.
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt.
You mentioned Chris. But who were some of the the other people in your life at the time who who kind of stuck with you through this idea, and it's kind of materializing into something more tangible, or something, a real business, and that you're literally selling bags now.
Yeah, for sure.
And partnering up, at this point you're partnering up with NBA and a lot of other high profile entities. But at the very beginning, who are some of those people who kind of was with you, kind of developing from the very beginning?
Yeah, no doubt. We keep it I keep a close, tight knit group of folks that are a real part of the home team. Shout out to my wife, who's still part of the company too. My man Jules, he's still part of the company. He was he's like a behind the scenes mentor of some sorts, and he's kind of he has his finger on the pulse of all things going on. My man Bob too, and just as things grown, it just became it became almost like a family, a community. So whoever's down from day one, usually they stick around. It's never like they come in, they bop their head in and leave. It's always a constant level of support from my brother, my sister-in-law. She does a lot of graphics for us, so it's a quite a tight-knit group, family based, and people like yourselves, and it's just kind of grown and really keep it familial. And my man Samir out in the West Coast has been like a brother out there and holding it down. He's part of the company now and just taking care of the retail sides of things. So it's really, people that really believe in the movement is what I say. It's because the movement's bigger than myself. It's bigger than one person. I always looked at it as we talk about it as a movement, and it's like something that we all have to nurture versus just me as one person. I could guide it the best I can, but it's up to the people that believe in it to really, make this, the other motors behind everything that make the brand go.
No, absolutely, man. It's they say it takes at least 10 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah,
and,
right. Word up.
And you mentioned early 2000 and earlier than that. So we're in 2021 now, and
2011 is when we officially put the stamp of the business on it. So I'm around that 10-year mark right now. So
hey, man, so you're primed and ready to go. And I asked you that question about the people who were around you, just because I think it's important to shout those guys out too. You know what I'm saying? They were there at the very beginning.
So I was breaking up. Would you say, Cal?
And I said it's very important to shout out those individuals who are with you at that, in the beginning.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Because, it's like a baby, it's like it takes a village to raise a child. So,
Word up.
but definitely, man, in terms of your, taking, you said 2011 is when you really got serious or really transformed it into a full-fledged business.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
what were the growing pains with respects to that? Like becoming, taking it from an idea and something that you were kind of putting together and actually becoming a full-fledged business. What were some of the things that you encountered then, in terms of that transition?
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely introducing a new concept that people didn't have in their heads. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're introducing a new shoe, a new pair of jeans, a new shirt out there, right? So, people see a thing hanging in the store. They know it's a shirt. They know it's a new pair of kicks or whatnot. But, when we introduce ourselves to retailers or even to new customers, they're like, yo, what is that? Like, they never seen it before. So it's like, once you show them, they're like, oh shit, that's dope. But at the same time, they're like, all right, I don't know what that costs, what to compare it with and whatnot. So there was always that uphill battle. I always say to people, we're creating like a new vernacular, right? It's like we're speaking a new language. We're putting our stamp out there that never existed before. So there has to be that. That's one of the, I guess, the biggest attributes of this whole thing was patience, and really have that perspective that that all the great things take time, and you gotta, especially with the new concept, you gotta throw it out in the world, be willing to stand behind it and let that idea stick, let it evolve and whatnot, to let the community raise it. And I think I had that perspective since the beginning. I was usually, when I do something, I'm all in. So I knew it wasn't going to take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years, and I was long-term committed from day one. And I kind of that was the uphill battle. Was it's going to be a new project, a new thing, and not everyone's going to get it at first, but hey, I'm here for the long ride. They'll get it at the end when we're we got NBA teams up in there, we got retailers and communities backing us. So that's always been the objective, man.
Right, absolutely, man. And in terms of like, you mentioned you've been doing this for a while now, so of course, just like anything, there's going to be some hiccups, right? There's going to be some stuff that hits you.
Yes, sir.
And in terms of that, those hiccups, was there any time where you just didn't want to do it anymore? Like, hey, man,
so
this is
breaking
not.
up a little.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I hear you.
All right.
I heard there's a few hiccups you said, right? That's where I caught you last.
All right. In terms of the hiccups, did you ever feel discouraged enough to say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore? And how did you get yourself back into the swing of things?
Yeah, man. There's always a hiccup, man, from getting a whole orders with the wrong print on it, from getting the wrong zippers on there to but there's always, I think as an entrepreneur, there's always about survival and creating your own alley, right? There's always going to be something, like you see a similar product out there that a backpack that has sneakers on it, or it's like, all right, it's like, how do you like when you're playing on a ball team, right? You want to fit in on this team, you want to create your own lane. It's like, what are you going to do? You bring something to the table constantly, right? So like, when you're playing ball, for me, it was like, all right, this guy has his strengths. I'll be the mid-range guy. I'll focus on that, man, and just kill it. I'll kill that niche I'll ride that lane till no one else is better at me in that lane, right? So for me, it was like, all right, you see another sneaker bag out there. It's like, it really makes you focus on how do you differentiate yourself from the rest? And I think that's the key for like what you do, what I do, and really bring something special to the table where no one could take anything away from you, right? So it's like, you'll see something out there. It's about survival, and if you encounter something that really makes you think about it twice, definitely think about it twice, 3 times, but come back the 4th time and kill it and find your way to shine Champions do. It's what entrepreneurs do. It's what anyone that's willing and committed to their craft will do. So,
no, that's yeah. You hit it right on the head, man. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna go through this stuff. So,
yes, sir.
you just have to have that resolve and that mental toughness to keep going.
Yeah.
For anybody who's been on the scene, New York City and otherwise, it's fair to say that you're everywhere, man. You're up at Hoops in the Sun at the Summit.
Yes, sir.
You're in Philly. You're
down the block.
here.
Right down the block from Staten Island, man. I'm always
you're here. You're there. You're everywhere, right? But
shout out to our UTL league in Staten Island's opening back up too, man. So they're always trying to make put their stamp on the island here. So shout out to our local.
Shout out to the UTL. Shout out to Staten Island. Staten Island doesn't always get the credit it deserves, man. And we here to bring that back, man. Bring that feeling back, man.
Right, man.
Solepack and Wu-Tang are the best things Staten Island ever did, man.
That's right.
But in terms of making your transition, right? Because like we mentioned, you are now, rubbing shoulders with a few pro athletes and NBA. You're working with them in terms of some of the merchandising and whatnot.
Hold on, okay. Up a little again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You still there?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you good? Mike, good?
Can you hear me? Oh, damn it.
I can hear you. We're gonna work it out. By any means. Yeah, I can hear you. You good? You hear me?
I can hear you now, but it breaks up a little bit.
Yeah, it goes in and out. We're gonna try to do the best that we can here. In terms of now, in terms of the you rubbing shoulders now with professional athletes and the NBA. Like, what was that like in terms of? Because I know that was probably one of your goals way back when. But what was that like the first time that you were able to give your bag to a professional athlete, or the first time you were able to work with such a prestigious organization like the NBA, who's like super tight knit and super hard to get in, to kind of get into. Like, how did that work?
Hold up, Cal.
You hear me?
I'm with you. Hold on a second, man. This thing's picking up on me, man.
Is that Staten Island Wi-Fi, man?
No.
Is that Staten Island Wi-Fi?
It worked out for all my other interviews, man. I don't know what's going on today.
Can you hear me okay? Or?
All right. You
want to end it? You want to end it and come back through? You want to end it and come back?
You want to give it a try?
It's up to you. What you want to do? Can you hear me?
I got you, man. I got you. Can you hear me now still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Am I breaking up still?
Just a little bit, but all right. So what we're gonna do is end it, and then we'll come back. And
let me text you real quick. Hold on.
Would you
want to text me, Cal? What do you want to do?
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you for a few seconds. Let me try my.
All right. We'll end it, and then we can come back. We can come right back if you don't want.
All right.
All right.
No, of course not, man.
All right.